From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update. Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Thursday, December 30th. Going to be dry, slightly warmer today all across the state. Highs will get into the low 50s. One person is in critical condition this morning after a shooting on the city's east side. The shooting happened just before 2 this morning near the intersection of 38th and Emerson Avenue. Just minutes after that shooting, a fire broke out at an abandoned house in the same area, 38th and Emerson. Fire officials say they didn't find anyone inside. There's no word if the shooting and fire could be connected. Also no word on what could have started the fire. And a man is hurt after a hit and run on the interstate. Police say the man was walking down I-70 westbound just east of the North Split when he was hit. This was around 4:45 this morning. Officers say the driver didn't stop. They say they don't know why the man was walking down the interstate, and they haven't shared a description of the vehicle that hit him. The U.S. is soaring to new records for new cases of COVID-19. More than a year after the vaccine rolled out, the average daily case rate is more than 265,000. That's higher than at any point during the pandemic. At the beginning of the year, there were 250,000 daily cases on average, according to Johns Hopkins University. Hospitalizations are half of what they were during the last record run. The CDC is predicting hospitalizations and deaths will keep rising. Its latest forecast shows more than 44,000 people could die in the next 4 weeks. And today, state business leaders and medical officials share their thoughts on the current COVID surge. It will involve both the Indiana Chamber of Commerce and the Indiana Hospital Association. Officials say they'll also discuss the surge's impact on hospitals and workplaces. This will happen this morning at 10 o'clock. It'll be hosted on Zoom. And as business and hospital leaders are set to meet, Indiana officials are asking people to do their part and get the COVID vaccine as Omicron makes its way through Indiana. News 8's Adam Pinsker explains why health officials are concerned.
Governor Eric Holcomb frustrated over Indiana's lagging vaccination rate in his first press conference on COVID-19 in several months.
For the life of me, I struggle to think about how some folks trust certainly the most lethal virus that anyone living today has been anyone who's living today has been exposed to.
The state's health commissioner, Dr. Christina Box, says COVID-19 cases are increasing dramatically in people 40 and under, as well as children 9 and under.
School cases have also increased before the winter break to some of the highest levels that we have seen in months. As a result, our positivity rate is once again hovering around 14% after falling to 6% in October.
The health department says only about half of eligible Hoosiers are vaccinated, and among that number, only a third of them received the COVID-19 booster. COVID-19 testing kits remain in short supply as cases surge.
I was at a CVS yesterday buying toothpaste, another confession, in the morning, and the clerk that was checking me out took multiple phone calls while I was standing there and had to say that, no, they did not have tests available at this time.
Dr. Box says she fears vaccine hesitancy and increased patient loads at hospitals will cause healthcare workers to burn out.
We have lost a tremendous number of healthcare providers. Someone very close to us just told us his wife is leaving an emergency room setting because she just can't do it anymore. And quite honestly, we will continue to lose more nurses and respiratory therapists and physicians from the healthcare profession.
I'm Adam Pinsker for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
The governor extended his emergency health order until February 1st, which has been in effect since the start of the pandemic. This will ensure Hoosiers can receive enhanced federal benefits. The governor will not impose mask mandates or any other restrictions right now. And Holcomb says he was stunned and blindsided by recent comments from Indiana's Attorney General. Earlier this month, Todd Rokita said he doesn't believe the state's COVID data, calling it politicized. Here's what the governor said when asked about the statement during yesterday's update.
He could very simply clear it up and say very clearly, one sentence, I believe the numbers that come out of the Indiana State Department of Health. That's it. Those numbers are accurate. If there's any accusation otherwise, legal, that becomes legal very quickly, and he needs to get it to the Inspector General.
Rokita then responded to Holcomb on Twitter, writing, "A lack of global standardization of the data and non-uniform use of criteria is an industry-wide management issue, not an inspector general issue. This isn't about fraud at this point. It's about inaccurate numbers and political agendas causing doubt." And despite surging cases, local bars and restaurants are bracing for big New Year's Eve crowds. Current guidelines in Marin County leave restrictions up to the discretion of each business. We spoke with Will Howe, who owns Burnside Inn on Mass Ave. He's one business owner that says he does have policies for his own staff, but he's going to leave the rest up to how customers feel. Now, the CDC does recommend wearing masks indoors and around large crowds. And the globe is still seeing travel troubles due to weather and surging COVID cases. According to FlightAware, more than 2,800 flights were canceled around the world yesterday. Nearly 7,000 were delayed. Seattle saw the most severe of cancellations and delays. According to FlightAware, 17% of flights out of Seattle-Tacoma International were canceled. 36% were delayed. Travelers here in Indiana aren't seeing major problems. Indianapolis International doesn't even show up on FlightAware's tracker for yesterday. An emergency request from former President Trump's spokesperson is denied. A federal judge will not block the release of financial records to the House committee investigating the riot on the U.S. Capitol. According to the order, the judge called the request moot. The subpoena in question was issued to J.P. Morgan Chase in a probe into Trump's finances. J.P. Morgan previously said it would comply unless Taylor Budowich got a court order blocking it by Friday night. He missed that deadline, so it's not clear if that's the reason behind the judge's decision. But J.P. Morgan Chase has not said yet whether the documents have been turned over. And today, President Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin will discuss the rising tensions between the two countries. This is the second call in a month as Russia continues to build up troops at the Russia-Ukraine border. The buildup is causing concern that Russia is planning on invading Ukraine in a matter of weeks. Putin's asking for security guarantees in Eastern Europe from both the U.S. and NATO. President Biden is expected to stress to Putin that the U.S. is united with Ukraine and its allies, but will engage in diplomacy with Russia. And a jury finds the former girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein guilty for her role in Epstein's years of sexual abuse of underage girls. A New York jury deliberated for 40 hours over 6 days. They found Ghislaine Maxwell guilty of 5 of the 6 federal charges, including sex trafficking of a minor, transporting a minor with the intent to engage in criminal sexual activity, and 3 related counts of conspiracy. She's acquitted on the charge of enticing a minor to travel to engage in illegal sex acts. A sentencing date is not yet set. She faces up to 65 years in prison. That sentence would mean the 60-year-old could spend the rest of her life in jail. Animal Care Services here in Indianapolis is worried that overcrowded shelters will be stretched even thinner by this weekend. IACS says New Year's Eve fireworks oftentimes send pets running. It's hoping you can help prevent these pets from ending up at the shelter. Shelter says it's exhausting all resources to get more animals adopted, but it may be forced to use euthanasia if more strays keep arriving. If you spot a lost pet this weekend, IACS asks that you follow these steps. First, check the dog for a collar or the cat for a collar or a tag. It may include the owner's number. Also, post a photo of the animal and where you found it on Indy Lost Pet Alert, Nextdoor, or another neighborhood group like that on social media. You can also take the animal to a vet to check for a microchip. And new signs going up around downtown Indianapolis are in preps for the College Playoffs National Championship game. Wish TV is proud to be the official local broadcast partner for the 2022 College Football Playoff Indianapolis Host Committee. And DPW is installing 40 signs around Miles Square, plus 8 champion signs on Georgia Street. DPW says the signs are a chance to welcome visitors to the city.
Georgia Street is set up to be kind of that visitor space for people that come into the city for conventions or for big games or big events like this one. So this is an opportunity to put our best foot forward, show our support for the folks coming into town.
DPW is also creating more than 200 banners and 30 different gateway entrance signs. The championship game is set to take place January 10th at Lucas Oil Stadium. And finally, to the Colts, the team is keeping a close eye on Carson Wentz's COVID-19 case. As we reported yesterday here, the quarterback was placed on the reserve COVID-19 list on Tuesday and must be out at least 5 days. If he can clear all NFL protocols on Sunday morning, he can start against the Raiders that afternoon. If not, the Colts say they're ready for backup QB Sam Ehlinger to take over, and Ehlinger says he's ready too.
I've had a lot of crazy life events been thrown at me in times where I have to step up. And I'm so thankful for those opportunities because it has prepared me for moments like this. And so with those things, I've just learned that controlling what you can control is the only thing that you can do. Don't let the external factors or things around you influence the way that you go about your daily business. And in order for me to be the best that I can be, it's controlling what I can control and preparing the best that I can to be as prepared in the moment as possible.
Kickoff is at 1 o'clock on Sunday. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.